Disney has fired other actors in the past for saying the exact same type of insanity that Mark Ruffalo said today. And let me tell you what, the meltdowns that he is having today online are absolutely unhinged. It is hilarious. We have a couple tweets that we're going to be looking at coming from Mark Ruffalo because he has just been losing his mind, and it is glorious. Now, the big question is, will Disney keep consistent with firing Mark Ruffalo in the same way that they have fired other actors in the past? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. My answer is probably not, because at the end of the day, he is a good little leftist, and therefore he will be able to keep his job doing things like the Hulk and everything else. So Mark Ruffalo, this is one of the insane things that he decided to tweet out today, and he said this:
"Just for the record, history is repeating itself,"
in a retweet of this. And we all know exactly why this is being tweeted out. We all know exactly what's going on here, because the leftists are completely just having full-scale meltdowns. They continue to have full-scale meltdowns over this past week because of all of the bad news that they have gotten and everything that is churning in favor of Trump. And they absolutely cannot stand that. Mark Ruffalo, someone who suffers from TDS on a great scale, is of course one of those people who is having a very bad day because of this. This is something else that he decided to tweet out. So it's a response to this breaking news. The AOC says that she will launch articles of impeachment against Supreme Court justices for corruption. This is how these leftists operate, okay? They want everything to go their way. They want to be able to use things like the justice system for their benefit, as we have seen recently with the political persecution of Trump in the justice system. But when things are reversed on them, then suddenly they have absolute just full-scale meltdowns because of that. So Mark Ruffalo said this in response: "There's nothing left to do. One story after another sheds light on the corruption of several justices. Today, they have announced the office of president as office of a king above the law, with anything the king might deem as part of the job. They have broken precedent time and time again and become a right-wing wrecking ball to our democracy, civil liberties, and protections. They are out of control. The Supreme Court of the billionaire boys." Oh my goodness. There is so much to unpack there. It is insane. But before we do that, I want to get back to this first tweet that he put out. "Just for the record, history is repeating itself." Do you remember when someone else who worked for Disney made similar comparisons like this back in 2020, 2021? Of course, we're talking about Gina Carano. And what happened to her? She was fired because of that. Pedro Pascal also made similar comparisons according to the narrative that he was trying to push out there. And did he get fired? Absolutely not. So Mark Ruffalo is not going to get fired either, because Mark Ruffalo and Pedro Pascal are using these comparisons in the way that Disney wants them to use them. They want them to make these comparisons in a way that paints the right-wingers as the bad guys. But when the opposite is used, like in the case of Gina Carano, then suddenly she gets fired. So the hypocrisy is just out of this world. It's totally okay for Mark Ruffalo to make these types of comparisons when it works for the narrative of the Democrats and leftists. With all of that being said, let me know what you think about what Mark Ruffalo is saying here with all of this insanity, all of this nonsense. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.